I'm currently on a month-long trip across Canada, traveling on train all the way from Halifax to Vancouver.
This is the dome car, which is clearly the best carriage in the whole train, I should say.
I recently emigrated to Canada from the UK, so I figured this trip was a perfect way to get to know my new home country. So in this next leg, I'm going to be traveling on Via Rail's Canadian line all the way from Toronto to Jasper, but I'm going to be stopping for a few days in both Winnipeg and Saskatoon, showing off this underrated region of Canada. An interesting thing about this leg is I live in Winnipeg. I moved there a year and a half ago, and if you're watching this going like, oh my god, you moved to Winnipeg, then I made a whole video on that. You can watch it after this.
Right now we're pretty close to the action.
Come on! So I'm gonna have 4 days showing off some of the fun things to do in Winnipeg. And then on the flip side, I'll be traveling to a province I've never been to before, spending 3 nights in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. When I signed up for a walking tour of Saskatoon, I didn't think I would end up describing it as mind-blowing.
They don't realize how special this is.
The Indigenous people have been using this site as a gathering place for over 6,000 years, so that predates the pyramids in Egypt. My journey began 12 days ago when I flew into Halifax and spent a few days driving around the Maritimes with my wife Jamie.
Start pulling, here we go! Hey, we've got 4 lobsters!
Jamie then flew back to Winnipeg and I boarded the train at Halifax to start making my way through Quebec and Ontario.
So this is where I'm staying tonight.
I had a few days city hopping through both provinces, finishing up at Niagara Falls. And now, I'm about to board the train in Toronto to start the 36-hour journey to Winnipeg. Just before we get started, one thing to mention is that even though I've emigrated to Canada, I haven't actually sorted out a Canadian phone number yet because my UK phone has a little bit of data allowance on it, and when I'm at home, I just use the Wi-Fi. But for this trip traveling across Canada, I obviously needed a lot more data, and so I've been using Nomad eSIM. It saves me a fortune on roaming charges, and I've actually used them for wherever I'm traveling in the world because it's way easier than trying to fiddle with replacing a tiny SIM card when you're abroad and making sure you don't lose the original one. So all you do is download the app, and then Nomad makes it super simple by walking you through the steps. So you pick a plan, install the eSIM, and activate. You can get connected in minutes and be ready even before you land in your destination. They have premium global connectivity at unbeatable prices, available in over 200 destinations, and starting as low as $1.10 per gigabyte with no hidden fees. And they have plans for every traveler with flexible data options, whether it's short trips, long journeys, unlimited plans, and regional passes. So download the Nomad eSIM app and use the code KARLXN to get yourself a 20% discount. And now, back to Toronto, where I'm about to board the train to Winnipeg. Train leaves in just under 2 hours, so I'm going to head to the station now and go get checked in.
Such a beautiful station here in Toronto. It's just undergoing a bit of a facelift at the moment. All right, drop my bag off. Now I'm going to go to the business lounge.
Since I'm traveling in the Sleeper Plus class, I had access to the business lounge where I could make my dinner reservations and grab some free drinks and snacks before it was time to board the train.
All right, boarding time. It is a big train. Yeah.
Okay, so up to your right, first door around the corner is bedroom F.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
This is my room. Okay, this is pretty cool. So much room for activities in here. So, nice little wash basin area here. There's a bathroom in there, 2 seats, and then later on at night time this comes down to a bed.
I think I can make this work for 36 hours. Oh, we're moving. Say goodbye to Toronto. Next stop is Winnipeg in 36 hours.
time for an early lunch, so I'm gonna go find the dining car. This is the dome. That's awesome. You have to spend some time there later.
Hi there. For one or two?
Yeah, just one.
Just one? Absolutely. Two?
Hi, one. Thank you very much. We just had a lovely, lovely lunch. Food here is just incredible, just so good. And the dining car was really pretty. And we're kind of going through the trees right now, and so you just had a sort of multicolored kind of forest around the dining car, which is just such a beautiful setting. There's this nice chatting to other travellers, getting to know them. Obviously didn't film that because I don't want to stick a camera in their face. Anyway, so this is the come on up. This is the dome car, which is clearly the best carriage in the whole train, I should say, because you get to see all the views around. And the best of all, you get this view out to the front of the train. Look at this. So in here, there's like teas and coffees and board games. Do a 1,000-piece jigsaw if you want to do it. So this is actually going to be the second longest train journey I've ever done. Like, back in 2014, I did a 48-hour train from Beijing to Tibet. But this 36-hour one's going to be the second longest one. And there's people on here who are just going Toronto to Vancouver all the way just for the experience of it, you know.
If you ain't got the do-re-mi, oh, you ain't got the do-re-mi. Better go back to beautiful Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee.
This train, the Canadian, go from Toronto to Vancouver is 70 years old this year, and they're still using all the same equipment. And it runs 2 times a week, which means if you're going to get off at some of the stops, you've got to get off for like 3 or 4 days, which is exactly what I'm doing.
You won't find it so hot. You ain't got the do-re-mi.
So dinner tonight was just absolutely delicious. Like, all the food on all these trains has been fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, for an insistence, I thought you were handing out giant sausages.
Canadian tradition.
Yeah, here's your sausage.
I had this beef tenderloin. It was an amazing cut of meat. Like, if I was in a restaurant, it might be like, oh, it could have been cooked slightly more to my taste, but on a train, you can't complain at all, and the meat was fantastic. And then for dessert was this triple chocolate cake. I was like, oh, this is amazing chocolate cake.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like rich but not overpowering, but yeah. It was just such a nice moment, just sitting there with all the light on the trees, and then the clouds lighting up for the sunset, and the reflections in all the lakes, and a couple of people in the cart spotted some beavers in the water. Like, they're like, there's a beaver gone to, you know, we were going fast, not the beaver, but yeah, it's just brilliant. And now changed my room to the evening setup. So I think if you had 2 people in here, then this would come down to this side here, and you have, like, you know, your like a bunk bed, but because it's just me, I've got all this space. Yeah, we'll see how we're doing for timing tomorrow. Hopefully arrive at Winnipeg on time, because I'm just, you know, excited to see Jamie and stuff. But yeah, great first day on the Canadian. Good morning. Oh, slept pretty good last night. It took me a while to fall asleep. I kept waking up, you know, just the train stopping at little stations and stuff. But overall, pretty well rested. Alright, let me show you the shower.
not bad actually. It's like decent pressure. Takes my own heat up, but for a train, can't complain.
Well, we'll start the day with an amazing breakfast. Had these pancakes that were just, so good. You took a bite, it's like, wow. Like, not too heavy, not too filling, just delicious. But yeah, we're somewhere in Ontario right now. Like, there's no phone signal. There's barely any phone signal on this at all. Just get odd pockets when we're near some random station. Dot on my map, which is hopefully accurate. Other than that, yeah, I can't really tell where we are or if we're running on time. You just have to sit back and get there when we get there. But yeah, this evening though, hopefully at 7:30, be arriving in Winnipeg, which is going to be good being home. Good seeing Jamie, good seeing Rosie. So yeah, I think the last 2 hours of today, when we're getting closer, I'm just going to be getting very impatient because I want to be back.
G49.
Bingo!
No way!
So, no big deal, but I won at bingo, and I'm now the proud owner of a Via Rail pen. But yeah, we're getting closer to the Ontario-Manitoba border. I'm just going past endless lakes, and it's just so gorgeous to look at. Later in the afternoon, I took part in the free beer tasting they had before I settled down for my 5 o'clock dinner.
But I also want to take a minute to thank the staff that's been looking after you guys for this lovely service, okay?
And then, it wasn't too long until we arrived in Winnipeg, so I went back to the Dome carriage to watch the sunset and see my home appear on the horizon. This is exciting though, like, I've travelled all the way across from the east coast of Canada back to Winnipeg. Got back home, overland. It's only the halfway point of the whole trip. This is gonna be great. As mentioned, the Canadian only runs twice a week, so I'm gonna have 4 nights here in Winnipeg before I get back on the train. It's gonna be an action-packed few days though, and for my first night, rather than staying at home, I've booked in to the Fort Garry Hotel.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for everything,
welcome.
man.
Take care.
Appreciate it. All right. Made it to Winnipeg. To remember to get my baggage. Never been in the train station here before. This is amazing. Anyway, I got my bag, so let's go to the hotel. So literally just across the street from the station is the Fort Garry Hotel. This is me. Well, looky what we got here. Looky here. Jamie's back.
You know, I could have just gone home tonight, but it's nice to treat ourselves to a night at the Fort Garry Hotel, because it is one of the old railway hotels. It was opened in 1913. It's just, as you just saw, I've only walked like 1 block here from the train station. We're in the Oval Bar right now, like bar/restaurant, and I've been here a few times. It's because it's gorgeous.
Like,
probably some of the best cocktails in town.
yeah, like a really proper old hotel bar, flawless cocktails,
Yes.
waiters in aprons, like just gorgeous, big, classical architecture.
Yeah, I could have easily just put my feet up for 3 days being back in Winnipeg, but I want to show off our
No, we're
hometown.
gonna
and
do stuff.
We're going to do
Like,
stuff.
we're
We're going to show what you can do if you, when you get off the train here.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun because I've never been a tourist in my hometown, other than showing you around some stuff.
Yeah.
We even haven't done that much.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be really fun to try like all the things that you would do if you were just like coming to visit Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Including staying at a nice hotel.
Yeah.
And so if you have the excuse to do it, why not?
Going up. Oh, yeah, big corridors. Look at this. It's the widest hotel corridors I've ever seen. Oh, very nice. Very spacious. Got a nice big king bed over here. We had a lovely night's sleep at the Fort Garry Hotel, and then in the morning, it was time to explore the city. Winnipeg lies at the confluence of the Red and Assiniboine rivers and had been used as a gathering and trading site by the Indigenous peoples for thousands of years. In the 18th and 19th centuries, it became a key location for fur trade, laying the groundwork for the railway network which used Winnipeg as a central gateway between eastern and western Canada. Today, Winnipeg is home to a rich arts and culture scene with world-class museums, incredible restaurants, and a strong music and theatre community. And the first thing we're going to do is head to Assiniboine Park to go see some polar bears at the zoo.
Manitoba's famous for polar bears.
Best place to see polar bears in the world.
Best place in the world. Yeah, so like northern Manitoba and Churchill's where you can see polar bears in the wild very easily. And funny enough, you get a train up to Churchill with Via Rail. But yeah, we don't have time to go to Churchill on this trip, but Assiniboine Park's a great way to see some.
But yeah, most of the things we're going to show you are only like a 10-15 minute drive from the centre of town, so whether you got a car or an Uber, you can just get them super quick and easy. The zoo opens at 9 and we were here at 8:59. We've got a lot of stuff to do today. We're going to try and cram a lot in. So we're not the only customers at the zoo. It's just, we were here first. Oh, the wolves. Check out the wolves.
I want to see.
Oh, God, they're huge.
Come on down here. Hey.
That was really cool to be so close to a giant pack of wolves. And they look so adorable when they're on the other side of a fence.
So we're at the journey to Churchill now. This is an Inukshuk, which are something that the Inuit people of the north use as place markers.
The journey to Churchill is a 10-acre site that brings the Arctic life right into the heart of the city, and all of the polar bears are rescued orphans, many of which are from the Churchill area.
Aren't you being cute? You're just playing. Oh, it's so sweet.
Look at that. Wow. It's huge. Oh my God.
I'm getting a long shot.
Oh wow. He is. He's on top of us.
He's sitting on you, big fluffy girl.
This is amazing. This is so cool.
So cool, yeah.
They look so cute and fluffy and so harmless, even though they're not.
Look at his feet.
Oh, you're just waving at the camera and then posing.
Oh my gosh, what a star.
We're honestly both just buzzing after that. It was like an adrenaline rush almost. Of just
Seriously.
such a magnificent creature just swimming right past you. I don't think there's anywhere else in the world you can see a polar bear that up close and personal. We're going to claim it anyway. We're now heading to another attraction in Assiniboine Park called The Leaf, a beautiful botanical gardens featuring a 20-meter or 60 feet indoor waterfall. You feel the humidity as soon as you walk in. It feels a little strange that 5 minutes ago we were doing Arctic stuff at the zoo, with polar bears and all that, and now we're in the rainforest.
Me for scale.
Yeah, I haven't been in here before, it's my first time, and it's really beautiful, but I definitely want to come back midwinter. I think it'll be quite therapeutic during the long cold winters.
So we're now in the Mediterranean biome, which is a separate climate from the tropical. But this one just smells like delicious herbs. It smells like the most amazing Italian dinner.
Oh, it's hot up here. Come to the 3rd floor and all the heat's risen. But yeah, that was really nice. You could spend a bit longer in there. There's like a nice restaurant and also just a cafe and things like that. So you can make a day of it at Assiniboine Park, really.
We've got lots of other stuff to do today though, and so we're now heading downtown to watch the afternoon Jets game, who are playing the LA Kings. We were both starving though, so we grabbed a bite to eat in Hargrave Street Market, which is in True North Square.
One of us likes pickles, one of us doesn't. I don't.
The pickliest of burgers.
Winnipeg,
It's my 5th time seeing the Jets, but normally we've been set up in the nosebleeds. Right now we're pretty close to the action, and it's really cool just seeing them actually see the puck, but also seeing them slamming against the wall and all the action. They're attacking towards us as well for 2 out of the 3 periods, so this is great.
Now I just need them to score a goal.
Yeah, come on.
Come on. Oh, that would have been perfect.
That would have been good timing.
Maybe it's too nice until you got us to a hockey game and we're
So the band playing is Dirty Catfish Brass Band, Winnipeg Institution. We've seen them live before in town. They're amazing. Brenda here. Hey! Generic Lager have not sponsored this video, but if they want to send us some free stuff. It worked last time. One of the great things about coming to games, especially when I first moved to Winnipeg, or first even visited Winnipeg, is you get like a good sense of the community here when coming to the games.
Oh, I'm watching the hockey.
Oh, you're not even listening to anything I'm saying. LA Kings now winning 2-1. We're losing right now, but because I've never played the game and don't know any of the tactics, I have no advice or ideas other than try and score some more. That's all I got.
Do the hockey.
Do the hockey better. All right, it's the end of the 2nd period, and the Jets are back in it with an equalizer. End of the 2nd period.
You know what? Good come back on that last bit there. Yeah. So for sure it's going to be 3rd period violence because everyone's going to be pissed off.
That's what we want.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I want to see teeth on the ice. Yeah.
Jets 3-2 up, 7.5 minutes to go. Come on, we got this. We won! Yeah! The newly pedestrianized Graham.
It was better when it was first down.
We made our way over to the Forks, which is just behind the train station and where the 2 rivers meet. And the market here is one of the most popular spots in town. There's lots of different food stalls to choose between with different cuisines from around the world. There's shops selling local products and souvenirs, and they have a wide selection of craft beers on tap to choose between as well.
So there's a lovely outdoor area outside the Forks Market where the Assiniboine and Red River meet. I did the boat tour
in the summer, which is really interesting, really good, but I wouldn't do it first. I would like go and see the sights around town, because you don't get the best view from the boat, so it's better to do the boat afterwards once you know what you're looking at, but then you get lots of really good information, so it is worth doing, just not the first thing you do. We've all just ordered some beers, but Brent and Jamie got a flight, and the little flight tray is in the shape of Manitoba.
Let's take a look. Yeah.
And Manitoba was famous for 4 giant towers with liquid in them.
They represent grain elevators.
Another popular area of town is the Old Exchange District, which has plenty of bars and restaurants to choose between. But tonight, we're heading to Osborne Street, which has a good selection of venues, and we're going for some drinks in Solera, which is a speakeasy bar inside of the Tabula Rasa restaurant. How do you even drink this?
Pop one of the bubbles.
All right. Oh, there we are. Ooh. Oh, that's a lovely drink. Underneath all of that, it's actually a very good drink.
It's probably the tastiest daiquiri I've ever had, actually.
Yeah.
Like it.
And what's the other one you got here?
This is called the Yard Work. It's a gin-based cocktail with some wheatgrass. Oh, that's very nice as well.
Anyway, I'm going to go back to this. After our night at a hotel, we're staying at home for the rest of my time in Winnipeg, which meant I was finally reunited with Rosie.
Look who's here! Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh!
Okay, sweetie, get up.
Who's this, bud? Who's this? Go see! Go see!
Come here. Hello. Hey, give me a kiss.
He's on. Here's the camera. Look at the camera. Yeah, good job.
Rosie, say hi.
Today, we're going to be slowing the pace down quite significantly as we're going to spend a day at the local spa village called Thermia. And this is like our favourite place in Winnipeg. It's like only a few minute drive from our house, 15 minutes from downtown if you've got your own car or you're in an Uber, but it's just a place to just come and just switch off. Like, it's away from any busy roads, so it's super quiet, and they've got different temperature pools, they've got saunas, steam rooms, relaxation areas.
The thing that Thermia is famous for is its thermal cycle, which means that you go and you sit in their Finnish sauna for usually around 15 minutes. You get like really hot and sweaty, and then you immediately submerge yourself in cold water, which is either like through this ice cold waterfall, the buckets, or they just have a cold pool if you don't want to get your hair wet like me.
So this is the cold plunge. It's cold.
And then you get into a temperate pool, which gives you all like the little tinglies in your fingers. That is such a cool feeling. It feels amazing. Like the endorphins really go for it.
And you get in the mid-temperature pool, warm up a bit, and then you get to come and relax in the hot tub.
It's amazing. It's so relaxing. They have a beautiful couple steam rooms.
When we come here, and we do come here a lot because it's just amazing, we'll spend a full day here. Like, it's just ridiculous. Just opens at 8:30 in the morning, and we leave when they kick us out, which is sometimes about 10 at night.
I came here when I was planning our wedding and just spent the day just decompressing from all the wedding planning. I brought a book and I just sat in the relaxation zone, and then I sat in the hot tub, and then I did a little sauna, I did a little steam. It was lovely.
They have an amazing restaurant here, and they do have a bar, and you can have drinks in the pool. We're a bit early for that, because one of the lovely things about being here is you can't use any phones or cameras, which means it's not just a bunch of people posing for Instagram or anything like that. You get to properly switch off. The reason we're able to film is the marketing team let us in early to film, which is really sweet. But yes, normally you wouldn't see someone one-on-one into a camera when you come here. It's very relaxing. You have to be, there's lots of signs about being quiet and you can't talk too loud and things like that.
Any time of year, they are open, whatever the weather is.
I mean, for me, sort of doing this month-long cross-Canada trip, where especially the last week has just been like city hopping, like bang, 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 rushing around trying to absorb as much as possible, to then come here for the day and just sort of switch off is just perfect. So yeah. If you don't get the gist of this, come to Thermia when you're in Winnipeg.
Trust us.
It's amazing.
Just do it.
We love it so much, and we're so lucky to live just 5 minutes away from here. It's just amazing. What have we got here?
This is a Caesar, which people may or may not know about, but this is a very traditional Canadian morning beverage.
Shout out to our good friend Luke, who hates Caesars. Breakfast sandwich.
Every morning they do a pop-up
Yeah.
cafe, which has like coffee, as well as these breakfast sandwiches and some lovely pastries. So before their restaurant opens properly, you can still get breakfast here, you can still get a Caesar. So we're sharing a breakfast sandwich, because we also plan to have a delicious lunch here later.
Yeah. We had a lovely, relaxing day just spoiling ourselves rotten at Thermia. And then the next morning, we went for brunch in Chinatown, going to another one of our favorite spots, Kum Kun Garden, and we filled up on some delicious dim sum. Excited?
Can you tell?
Then after that, I went by myself to go and check out the Canadian Human Rights Museum, which I haven't actually been to before, even though it's such an iconic part of the Winnipeg skyline. And in terms of location, it's right downtown. Like, that's the train station and the Fort Garry Hotel right behind me. And the museum's right here, so let's go check it out. Now, I have been briefed a bit on this museum beforehand, and from what I understand, you can make an entire documentary about this museum just by itself, and then each of the exhibits, like the subject matters, you can do an entire documentary series on each of them. And I'm going to try and sum all up in like 2 to 3 minutes, so. The museum's designed so you walk through and go on a journey, so I'm just going to show you that journey right now. So this first room is very simply about what are human rights, like what are we actually talking about here, and they have like a timeline here of the history of human rights with sort of key figures over the years have sort of helped the progression of human rights. So this area is called Canadian Journeys, and it's about the struggle for human rights within Canada's history. They got lots of different individual exhibitions here focusing on different subject matters. But this here is really special. In the middle of the room, they've got this thought bubble area. So as you stand, you get a bubble around your feet with your own ideas. Once you go near someone else, your bubble joins with someone else. And then when you leave, your bubbles change because you learned new things. So the concept for the layout of this museum is you're going on a journey from darkness into light, and sort of in between the different exhibitions you have these walkways that are lit up. And also by having these walks in between the exhibitions, it gives you a bit of time to reflect on what you've just learned and what you've just read about. I've been told apparently some people come here on a first date, which is, pretty intense first date. But I guess if you want to fast track to find out, who it is you're dating and what their opinions are on things like human rights, then come here and do the quiz. Yeah, I don't normally feature museums that much in my travel videos because they just come across as a bit dry on film, but there's no way I can miss out this place because it's just phenomenal. It's such a well-done museum. It's obviously dealing with a lot of very serious, very heavy subjects. And again, that could be something done in a quite a dry way, but the exhibitions are so good, so interactive, different styles to them. And so if you come to Winnipeg, you can't miss out on this place. And of course, at the end of it all, you get to come up here for an amazing view of the city. Later on that day, Jamie and I head downtown to get some dinner.
So we come to a restaurant called Feast, which is one of the very few Indigenous owned and run restaurants in Canada. It's my first time here, but you've been to this place before.
I have, yeah. It's really yummy. It's really tasty. It's well known for marrying Indigenous ingredients and contemporary techniques to make like a high fine dining experience utilizing traditional methods. So I've ordered the pickerel or walleye, which is a lake fish that is caught in Manitoba.
Yeah.
So keeping it local.
Yeah.
And it looks lovely. That's it.
And I've gone for the bison.
So this is bison with a blueberry sauce. Again, with wild blueberries, very Manitoban, very Indigenous cuisine as well.
This looks delicious, but I haven't even tried it.
Look at that meat.
You know the cliche, it melts in your mouth? That's what it is.
It does.
I'm jealous. Like I love walleye, I love pickerel, but I'm jealous.
We're gonna
of
share.
bison.
Don't worry. We're gonna share. It's good meat.
It's my last day in Winnipeg before I have to get back on the train, and there was something just outside of town that I wanted to go and see.
All right, so we've driven to come and see the Centre of Canada sign. This isn't a must-do if you're coming to Winnipeg, but if you're doing like a cross-Canada trip like myself, it feels right to come see it, sort of like mark the midpoint of the trip. Yeah, it's basically just a quick photo stop. It's the longitudinal centre of Canada, so we're like halfway between the place just outside of St. John's, Newfoundland, and the place somewhere on the west coast. I don't know where it is, but it's like a random point somewhere halfway up to Alaska, I think. This is it, centre of Canada. Anyway, it's bloody cold, so we're gonna go. Let's go!
From here, we drove back into town and went round Jamie's parents' place. So it's Thanksgiving weekend. We had originally thought about going to the lake, which would be lovely to see and show a bit of like Manitoba lake life, and we were going to go on a hike and things like that, but sadly the weather hasn't behaved today, which I can't complain about because we've had amazing weather the entire trip so far. But yeah, so we just got all family together. Rosie's very, very excited because she's smelling all the food. We're just going to enjoy a lovely Thanksgiving meal together.
We love Thanksgiving, don't we, Rose? Yes, we do.
Cheers, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
After we'd had a lovely dinner, I had to pack my bags for the train and say goodbye to Jamie and Rosie.
Bye, Rosie.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. She's looking away.
Rosie.
Makes it so hard. At least you look at me. Back at the station, it was time to get the 12-hour overnight train to Saskatoon.
14 that way?
14's this way.
Thank you. It's weird, this is kind of like, oh yeah, this is what I was doing. Just getting used to being home, and now it's like, back to the adventure, I guess. Tonight I'm sleeping in a sleeper berth rather than my own cabin.
Okay, so this is me. This is nice. You know, having the huge cabin to yourself is obviously great, but this is comfy and spacious. I'm not crammed into a small bed. I think you'd have less space during the day to be sort of sharing 2 seats in this area, but there's all the other carriages you can hang out in anyway, so that's fine. So there is baggage space underneath the bed, because there's no one above. I can just stick my bags up there tonight, which is nice and easy. It's only 9:30, I'm probably just going to get a drink, go get a drink, and then go back and settle in, watch a movie and go to sleep, and say goodbye to Winnipeg. See you in the morning. Well, good morning. Got some snow on the prairies out here. Didn't sleep that well last night. The setup's amazing, like so much space, super comfy, but the train was like gold for it, and it was just like like that all night. So yeah, this is what we're going through. it's actually not as flat as I thought it would be. There's like very small hills rather than just complete flat.
So yeah, this is what the berth looks like during the day. Like bed sheets go up here, then you have a seat each, sharing a space, but I've got it to myself today, although I'm getting off in like an hour anyway. So yeah, I'm ready for the next bit of the adventure. Hey.
Welcome to Saskatoon.
Thank you. All right, Saskatoon.
The train station is about a 15-minute drive from downtown, so I hopped in an Uber to take me to my car rental, which I'll then drive to my hotel.
All right, got my car for the next 3 days. The Uber driver, just as he was dropping me off, was like, "Oh, can you give me a 5-star review, man?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." I get out, and then he starts driving off with my luggage. I'd be like, whoa, wait. So yeah, no 5-star review for you. All right, let's see if this works.
Even though it was only 11 a.m., I was luckily able to check into my room.
Nice. Similar kind of layout to the one in Halifax when I started this trip 18 years ago. Oh, look at that view. Come on. That's a great view.
All right, let's go explore the town. Saskatoon's history began thousands of years ago as a gathering place for Indigenous peoples along the South Saskatchewan River. A temperance colony settlement was founded here in the 1880s, and it quickly grew after becoming a key railway and river crossing in central Saskatchewan. Today, it's recognized as a hub for education and research, with a growing food and art scene and a strong connection to nature with its extensive Meewasin Valley trail system along the river. To mix things up a little this time, I signed up for a walking tour with Meewasin Valley Authority. Walking tours are not something I normally do in cities, like most of the trip I've just been bouncing around by myself, but I had this one recommended to me, and also I just knew so little about Saskatoon. I was like, you know what, let's see what they got to say, let's see what they got to offer, you know? I head down to the Delta Besborough Hotel, another old railway hotel, to meet up with my guide, Sam.
Whether you're a local or you've never been here before, there's something new to learn every time. And there's so many hidden discoveries to uncover.
So we started out by just looking at the wall of the hotel.
What makes this special are the blemishes. Because every blemish isn't a blemish, it's a fossil.
Oh.
Dating anywhere between 450 million years to 250 million years old.
Wow.
Every single blemish.
Okay, that's a good fact to start with. That's impressive.
It's pretty wild. People think it's chewing gum.
Right.
You know, they don't realize how special this is. So this is called Rugose coral.
Yeah, that's a fossil.
Yeah, it sure is, buddy.
Yeah, I went to Beaver.
I have to say this on camera because Jamie, my wife's going to be screaming at the TV because we have some of the bricks at the front of our house have a couple of fossils in as well. So I have to look at what they are now because I just went, oh, that's cool, but now I'm very curious. So see, I mentioned it, Jamie. There you go. So this is Saskatoon's Rail Hotel.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This roof was installed in 1931. That's 14 years after the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
So why hasn't it turned green yet? The answer is that Saskatoon has exceptionally clean air.
Okay.
Exceptionally clean air. And the reason why we have such clean air is because we have two forces happening. Number one, lichen. So we have lichen that grows on rocks and trees. It's a tremendous filtration system on the air.
Yeah.
But it doesn't survive just on its own. It's a symbiotic relationship with the grasslands.
Okay.
It's all about those grasslands, baby. Saskatoon specifically is enveloped by native prairie grasslands. These are root systems that have never been cut by a tractor.
Right, okay.
So these root systems grow and grow and grow, and the carbon we capture in the grasslands of Saskatchewan is more than the Amazon rainforest.
Whoa.
Yeah, the entire Amazon rainforest.
Bloody hell.
When I signed up for a walking tour of Saskatoon, I didn't think I would end up describing it as mind-blowing. Sam had this sort of infectious energy and passion for the city that kind of really rubs off of you.
90% of the Amazon rainforest is protected.
Yeah.
Guess how much of the grasslands worldwide are protected?
I'm gonna guess very little.
Yeah, 1% of
Right.
1%.
Okay.
Yes, it's bonkers. And
Yeah.
it's such a magic carbon capture because
Yeah.
I can burn this, I can cut it down, I can walk across it,
Yeah.
but that's not carbon captured in the biomass above like the Amazon. It's all underneath. It'll never get re-released into
Right.
the atmosphere.
Sam went on to talk about the Meewasin 100-year plan that was created for the city in 1978, and this conservation plan, created in Saskatoon, has now gone on to inspire cities all around the world.
Cities far away as Beijing look to us in our 100-year plan when trying to figure out how did you create all this green space in a city of your size.
Yeah.
If you ever go to New York City and you explore the High Line Trail, they use the Meewasin 100-year plan to create that trail.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and again, I could make another documentary just about all the different things I learned on that tour, because it turns out there's a lot more to Saskatoon than first meets the eye. But yeah, if you're in town, I'd highly recommend doing the walking tour with Sam, because it was so much fun.
Wild!
After I finished the walking tour, I decided to check out Ramey Modern, an art museum just across the road from my hotel, and it contains a variety of contemporary art pieces, as well as a Picasso gallery.
It's nice just wandering around, seeing what pieces you're drawn to. You know. See, I prefer like the old-fashioned ones, where it's like, here's a really good painting, rather than just, here's some colours. No offence to that artist.
Then, in the evening, I decided to keep things simple and just get dinner at my hotel's restaurant.
Got myself a nice cocktail and I ordered some Korean spicy pork as well. I feel like I should have chopsticks for this, but it is easier actually in some ways. That's nice. Like a little bit of spice to it, nothing too crazy. Alright, first thing I do this morning is go out and get some breakfast. I'm heading to a place called Hometown Diner, which I had recommended to me. It's just like a 10-minute walk from the hotel. It's just on the edge of the CBD of town. Well, shit. There's nothing on Google about it being shut, so maybe something's just happened today. Maybe a family emergency, so I don't want to make too light of it, but yeah. I guess I'll just go get a Tim Hortons. Good old Timmy H.
Well. That morning, I decided to go and check out Beaver Creek Conservation Area, which was just a 20-minute drive out of town.
But just like be nice to sort of see a bit of the actual prairies, not just being stuck in the city the whole time. But yeah, like 5 minutes out of the city is just boom, immediately farmland.
Just gonna go for a little trail, and that's about an hour of walking around. Oh, this is really pretty. You sort of come out the visitor centre, and then the whole creek's just here. It's so colourful. And they also give you some bird feed for feeding the chickadees. Not for the chipmunks, but the chickadees. They're so quick, just like land in your hand for a split second. It's cool. They're super cute. They got a little self-guided tour you can do with just scanning a QR code and brings up bits of information and things to observe. So it says here that beavers are a keystone species, meaning that they create habitat for other types of animals like birds, fish, insects, and amphibians. And without the beaver, many of these species would disappear or be limited in this region. Amazing creatures, just I can't see them right now. Hello. It's like a Disney movie. Come feed my friends. Yeah, it's turned out pretty nice. You know, I wasn't sure what to expect, but I just get outside the town, see a little bit of nature, but it's a beautiful little spot.
So there's one thing in Saskatoon I've been told to go and see, and this might just be the highlight of the entire Canada coast-to-coast trip. So we're just going to go and drive and check that out right now.
So my mother-in-law was born in Winnipeg, but moved to Saskatoon when she was very young, and between the ages of 6 and 9, she lived in that house right there. Happy, Judy? All right. That evening, I went to Broadway Avenue to get some food and drinks, stopping for a pint in Prairies Brewery, and then heading to Gallery's restaurant to enjoy some delicious farm-to-table food. And then the next morning, it was my last day in Saskatoon, so I filled up on a nice big breakfast at the hotel, then made my way to Wanuskewin Heritage Park, which was a 20-minute drive out of town.
So Wanuskewin has been a peaceful gathering site for over 6,000 years. We have evidence of all Northern Plains Indigenous language groups that have visited this site at one point or another. And the evidence that we have is either through physical evidence, through archaeology, or it is through oral tradition. So again, the way that we pass down our knowledge, our stories, is through storytelling, through talking, through spending that time with each other. So we hold that just as much as evidence as the physical evidence. And within this space, there is a lot of different areas. So we have spiritual sites, we have habitation sites, and then we also have hunting sites. We have 2 bison jumps, which was a form of hunting in the past.
So I'm here in mid-October, which is just past the peak season for visiting Wanuskewin, but in the summer months here, they have a lot more activities and events on. Like they'll have in this little amphitheater over here, they'll have like music and dancing, and they'll have talks out here. But we're walking actually down into the creek now, and there's a few trails you can do around here. And they have the teepee village here as well.
So here at Wanuskewin, we build Plains Cree-style teepees. With each of those poles, there's a teaching that goes along with those poles. And as you're putting those poles up, you put them up in a clockwise direction. You are also going through the stages of life.
So if I was here during the summer, they actually do teepee sleepovers here, where you get to sleep in the teepees overnight, but everyone gets to sit around a fire and they tell stories.
It's also a good time for questions, right?
Yeah.
We're always open to questions. There's no such thing as a silly question because we're always learning things.
Yeah.
So.
That's one of the things I was curious about, is how they kept themselves warm.
Yes.
Because like everyone always asks me like, oh, what's it like being in the Winnipeg winter and stuff? I'm like, well, we have central heating. So.
Yeah. Much different today than it would have been in the past. A lot of it is the bison, right? There is a huge connection between the Indigenous people here on this land and the bison. That is like our kin, that's like our family.
Yeah.
So yes, we hunted these animals, but it was always with respect.
Sure.
And it was always with appreciation. There would have been ceremony ahead of time to say thank you to the bison. Thank you for sacrificing your life so that us as a people can survive. And again, there's teachings. You only take what you need.
Yeah.
And what you do take, you try to use up as much as you can. So with the bison, almost every part of the bison has a use.
Right.
So the bison hides and the fur, that would have kept you warm. And a lot of times too, still to this day, teepees, they're made out of hide.
Right.
So that's going to help keep the heat in too. So in the past, this is somewhere we not want to be standing because there'd be bison coming over. It was a big hunt. You'd be hunting herds of anywhere from 75 to 150 bison. Yeah. So it was a very sophisticated hunt. It took a lot of people. It took a lot of planning. It usually happened kind of now in the fall. But there's a misconception that the bison would just go over the cliff on their own. And again, not so. It took a lot of planning.
Out the front of the museum is the bison viewing platform, and from there, leading back to the museum entrance, is where the bison run would have been.
It's flat land as far as the eye can see, but down here, where the jump was, is a creek. So they would scare the bison into running down here, and all these piles of rocks are called cairns, and they would hide behind them and then jump out to scare the bison more and keep funneling them towards the cliff and then drive them over the edge of the cliff there.
So after a successful hunt, again, we're really close to the bottom of the jump. Things would be brought over here, and then everybody's helping out.
Yeah.
If you're really good at hides, you're going to be working there. If you're good at cooking, you're going to be doing that.
Yeah.
And then again, everything is going to be shared, right? You want to make sure that everybody has enough.
I love how they just like live in balance with everything. Like they didn't treat the bison as just an endless resource they could just, do whatever they wanted with. And they understood the importance of them and how much they provided them.
So I have teachings, and even there's teachings within the teepee teachings. One of them is humility. And that's talking about all of us are being equal. We're not better than the land isn't better than us. We are all working together to create our beautiful home. There is that mutual respect, and there is that sense of taking care of each other too.
After Jessie finished showing me around, I continued to explore the park further by following some of the trails.
Just got the quickest glimpse of a beaver. Don't know if I can see him again. Yes.
I'm just gonna hang out a bit longer, see if I can see more of them. Wow, what a view. You got a perfect view back of the creek and the whole Wanuskewin site, but then you've got the South Saskatchewan River right here. And just get an amazing view all around of the area. So if you're doing the trails around here, it's just on the corner of the yellow trail right here. You can see why they use it though, because if you look around, it's just flat plains as far as the eye can see, apart from the river just here. But then you've got this little creek that can give you shelter and keep you warm, but also it's a perfect place for running off the bison. It makes perfect sense it was used as a gathering site. But I've really enjoyed it here. Like, coming from the UK, my knowledge of like the First Nations is just like basically zero. But the great thing about the Heritage Park here is you can arrive with zero knowledge, but then get a very good understanding of the history from just the basics of timelines, especially post-contact when the European settlers first came here, but also just learning about their traditions and their way of life and their storytelling and how they pass things on. And it's such a picturesque spot as well, so you can come here and learn a lot, but also, have a little hike around and just enjoy these gorgeous views.
It seems like you're farther out in the bush than you actually are. Like, we're right near Saskatoon, but again, there's that sense of kind of just
you wouldn't know it from here.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you get the odd train sound because there is a train there, but
sorry, that's via rail.
Yeah.
But anyway, my stomach's starting to rumble, so I'm going to get some lunch at the visitor centre. So I come to the restaurant here and I ordered a bison burger, which seems pretty appropriate given everything we learned about bisons today. But it has a Saskatoon berry barbecue sauce in it because Saskatoon gets its name from the berries in this region. So this seemed like a perfect meal, combining what we learned about the bison and the local berry all together in one. So that's a really good burger. Really fine bit of meat, but the berry has a nice sweetness to it, as you'd expect. It's almost like a relish. Just as I was about to leave, I had a quick chat with the co-executive director of Wanuskewin, and he started telling me about a multi-day experience that people can do with other Indigenous sites in the region. And since the Via Rail train only goes twice a week, so people are looking for things to do if they get off the train for 3 to 4 days, I said to him, would you mind saying that again on camera, just exactly how you just did, and tell everyone about it?
So Wanuskewin works with the Dakota Dunes Adventures along with Pemiska Tourism, so both Whitecap First Nation as well as Beardy's Okamesis Cree Nation, to create Canada's first Indigenous tourism corridor. This is called Kitchiota. And Kitchiota is a partnership between the 3 properties that allow for us to now offer a multi-day, multicultural experience right here in Saskatchewan and spend a few days here in some really fantastic, really impactful, memorable Indigenous tourism experiences.
It was my final night in Saskatoon before I catch the train to Jasper in the morning, and my buddy Graham was in town from Winnipeg, so before we hit the beers, we got some food at a restaurant inside the art gallery.
So I'm back in the art gallery, come to a restaurant called Hearth, is that how you pronounce it? Hearth, which I had everyone recommended to me. Saskatoon's known for farm to table dining, like all the produce are locally sourced from farms, they cut out the middleman, and this is supposed to be one of the best places for it. So it turns out we've ordered a lot of food. This all looks amazing though. I'm kind of like, almost like a kid in a candy store, you don't know where to start.
After we filled up on the delicious food, some of Graham's buddies joined us for a few beers, and it turned into a really good fun, but eventually kind of messy evening. And then the next morning, it was time to say goodbye to the Prairies as I was boarding the train to Jasper.
Time to get back on the train, and time to head up to the mountains. So, let's go. This is me for the next 22 hours, I think.
Yeah, so tomorrow morning, I'll be waking up in Jasper. This is going to be my 5th time in Jasper, but I haven't been there for 10 years. And I'm just so excited to get back in the mountains. Like, I love being in the mountains so much, so it's going to be an amazing few days.
Oh boy, I'm excited.
I feel like Canada's just showing off now.
does kind of feel like I've just stepped into Narnia. There's a moose right here.
Loved that. That was absolutely brilliant. What a place to be.